Hold on to your seats, chess kids, because I have a bombshell. I am not the most famous Michael in the chess world. Who would that be? Well, in my eyes, it is Grandmaster Mikhail Tal. People call him the Magician from Riga. You can also call him the World Champion. And you know what else he popularized before his time was over? That would be the queen sacrifice. That's right, Miss Botez. Before you were giving up your queen, he was doing it for realsies in classical tournaments against grandmasters. And today, FunMasterMike is going to show you my favorite Mikhail Tal queen sacrifice of all time. Let's get into it. He was white in this position, and black played the move knight to g6 to attack the bishop. Now, there's going to be a lot of answering attacks with attacks, but that's what makes him a magician. He did not save his bishop, and he played the move knight c4, but of course, his attack is stronger because he's going after the queen. Now, black does take a quick timeout to save the queen, and what does white do? Does Mikhail save the bishop? No, he does not. He answers another attack with another attack. Does black move the knight? No, black does not. Black actually plays the move b5. And are these like beginners playing chess because nobody is saving anything? In fact, now white has no less than 3 pieces under attack. The bishop, the knight, and the queen. You may wonder, why didn't black just take the bishop? Well, if black had captured the bishop, white would have a very pleasant choice of knight to d6, which forks the king and the bishop, or what I think Mikhail would have played would have been pawn takes knight, because that rips open the e-file and his rooks are going to be charging. So we can kind of understand why, in this position, black decided to play the move b5, forking the white pieces. Here we go. The Botez gambit. Just kidding. The Mikhail Tal gambit. He does not save the queen. He plays pawn takes knight, leaving the queen en prise. What an amazing move. Now, in this position, the computer actually suggests for black to take nothing and to castle? What? Okay, that's just crazy. I don't know about you, but when somebody captures one of my pieces, and I have 3 different pieces to capture, one of which is the white queen, yeah, I almost always make a capture. And in fact, black did. Black took the white queen, which gives us the pleasure of seeing what was the method to the magician's madness. Well, in this position, he starts out by capturing, which not only wins a pawn, but it also reopens this bishop, it wins a tempo on the rook, and it gives black this annoying pawn to have to worry about. Black only has one reasonable move, which is to blockade that pawn. And now, in this position, Mikhail Tal plays bishop to f5. I'm laughing, I can't keep a straight face, because who can play chess this way? I don't know, not me. Bishop to f5. You're down a queen, and what do? You offer 2 more pieces. By the way, I didn't even talk about the fact that this bishop still has never been saved. It's been hanging since the beginning of this video, chess kids. Okay, is he a crazy man? No, he's actually kind of a genius. Now, the first point is that if the queen takes the bishop, then Mikhail Tal jumps in with a giant fork, and when the king moves, let's say to a square like d7, then we capture, and this endgame is slightly better for white. For example, black could take, white could take back. Now, white would lose this pawn, but look at the remaining pawns for black. Every single one of these pawns is isolated. I'm going to highlight them all because I have nothing better to do. This bishop is not a real chess piece, and the king is wide open with all those open files and the rook's about to charge in. So you can kind of understand why black did not want to play chess this way. If we go back to bishop f5, even worse would be if the queen took the knight, because now those open files against the king are going to spell the end. Rook e1 check, and there's nowhere for the king to go. Look at this pawn actually playing a part in the attack, keeping the king out of f8. The bishops keep the king out of all the other squares, and the only reasonable try would be to put your queen in the way. And now, watch this. We're actually going to take with the rook. Rook takes e6. Because after pawn takes, bishop takes, knight check, the king has to go on a walk, and now all white has to do is defend the pawn, play bishop to f7 coming up on the next move, and white has a winning endgame. Okay, we need to go back. The game continued slightly more boringly. Black bailed out, gave the queen back by playing knight takes bishop. Finally, that bishop met its doom. But then after bishop takes queen, and pawn takes, knight check would have won the piece back. So black tried this clever little move, bishop a6. It actually almost looks like white's in a little bit of trouble. This knight is pinned to the rook. This bishop is still hanging. But look at this little Texas two-step. I don't know what they call it in Latvia, the Latvian two-step. Knight to d6 check, and you may wonder, how does that save the piece? Because after king to e7, then the bishop takes the place of the knight. Look at that fancy maneuvering. The knight is now not able to be captured because then the bishop will be taken, and if the bishop captures, then the knight simply retreats to capture back. A really, really neat idea in that position. And Mikhail Tal went on to win thanks mostly to the really active rooks and the exposed black king. It did go on for quite a while longer, but we're just going to end it there because I think the impressive stuff has been shown. Can you sacrifice your queen as well as Mikhail Tal? I don't know. If you do it on purpose, it's the Mikhail Tal. If you do it by accident, it's the Botez gambit.